Hey folks, it's your favorite 98%er on YouTube, Mike the Disgruntled Mechanic. Today's going to be something a little bit different. Today it's not going to be a vehicle. Today what I'm going to do for something different is I'm going to be working on a PC. So rather than the Disgruntled Mechanic, I'm going to be the Disgruntled PC Tech for one time. I used to have a computer repair business. That was something I did on the side for many years, and I gave it up just because it wasn't worth doing. Well, it's a long story, but I didn't enjoy doing it anymore. But every once in a while I will get a friend's computer if they ask me to work on it, and I'll work on it. So we have a complaint of a not starting. I'm not sure what it is. I have not turned it on, so I'm going to bring you in with me. We'll set it up. Sorry for the distraction. I hear my dogs barking, probably because they hear me talking down here, and the nutheads don't know any better. But anyhow, be that as it may, I'll try and get them quieted down. But I'll have you take a look at this computer with me and go through the steps that I did or used to do to try and clean the computer up or get it started or whatever the problem may be. The thing is, I'm a little rusty. I don't do it often anymore unless I have to do my own. So bear with me. I'll try to make this as painless as possible, and we'll try to have a little bit of fun doing it maybe, and we'll see where we get and what happens. But next thing I'll do is I'll bring you along. You'll probably see my back. I'll try and get a good picture of the computer, but we'll look at the computer, see if we can get it fixed. So onward and upward. I'm actually in my old workshop. I have some different discs here that I use. USBs. I'll show you what they are as we go along, but let's boot this up and see what happens. I'm not sure how it'll be with the light here. I've never done this before with this, but okay, start Windows normally. First thing I'm going to do here is, I think, I don't know if we can see it or not. Let me try and get in here a little closer. But you have some options here. It was start Windows normally. We're not going to do that. We're going to see if we can get in with safe mode. Safe mode with networking, safe mode with command prompt, and start Windows normally. Actually, what I may do is let's just try to start it normally, just to see what it does. This is more for the purposes of showing this than what I'd normally do. Normally, I'd go right into safe mode with networking, see if it boot up with that. One of the reasons I do that is because when you start up in safe mode, not as many things starts. Only the needed program starts. So if it's a program that's a problem when Windows normally boots, you won't have that problem sometimes in safe mode. But let's see what happens. So far this looks normal to me. Like I said, you're with me for the first time that I boot this up. So let's see where it goes. Preparing to configure Windows, do not turn off your computer. Okay. I'm pretty sure this is what they told me the problem was. That it was preparing to configure Windows and it got stuck in this loop. That they'd leave it on forever and it won't go anywhere. So let's turn this off. Let's go back to the safe mode like I was going to do and see how that starts up. Now, even though you shouldn't normally, I'm just powering this thing off. I'm just shutting it off, letting it shut down. Normally you don't want to do that when Windows is doing that, but we're doing it. So let me start this up, and we are going to start in safe mode. We'll see if it comes back up to that prompt. It does. So let's go to safe mode with networking. I may cut some of this out or speed it up for time constraints, but we're going to let this go. This takes long. This video may get way too long, but I'm still going to do it. The other thing that I'll do, well, we'll see it as we go, but if this doesn't work, then the next thing I'll do is I'm going to go into the boot menu, and I'm going to set it up to boot from USB. Which, when I boot from USB, probably the first thing I'm going to do when I boot from USB, if this doesn't work, is I'm going to actually use a program called, it's on this USB, called Kaspersky, that you can use to try and find any viruses or any problems like that. This may not, Kaspersky may not find anything, because I had one sort of similar for this that I did with a friend, and it wasn't a virus. I couldn't find a virus on it. It was either a Windows update, some program updating that just didn't work right. Now, what it's saying here is, since I went in safe mode, it's saying failure configuring Windows updates, reverting changes, do not turn off your computer. I haven't done much work with Windows 7. Windows XP was pretty popular when I quit working on computers. So I'm not too sure where we'll go here, but I think I will leave it do this for a while. We'll see what happens, and I'm going to let it go. Whenever it comes back or I see something, I'll turn the camera back on and we'll go from there. No use watching this. I don't know how long it'll take or if it's going to do anything, but let's give it a chance first. If this doesn't do anything, then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to boot with that Kaspersky and try to see if there's a virus or something that happened, and then we'll go from there. But I'll show you how to do that. Like I said, we'll change the boot menu to boot from USB, see if we can get the boot from USB, and then if we can, we'll run Kaspersky. But let's wait and see what this does. I'm going to give it a little time, just because it says it's reverting changes, so I'm assuming it's reverting back because it's having a hard time starting Windows with the new configuration in. When something happens, or if nothing happens in a while, I'll be back. While I'm sitting here waiting for this, I just had a thought. I always get very impatient. Sometimes you have to wait a while for this to happen. It's only been about 10 minutes, but I may let it go all night till tomorrow morning, actually, and then get back to this tomorrow. But one of the things I did want to say was, people, a lot of times, they want their photos and all that stuff off of it. Even though it doesn't boot, doesn't mean you can't get the stuff off of it. You can go in with some programs that you can boot from either USB or from a disk. Let me got a bunch of my stuff here, and we may talk about this. We'll see where we get. But we have Ultimate Boot CD for Windows. You can use that. I get the two confused. I have Ultimate Boot Disk for Windows, and I have another one. Let me look here. C tools. Another thing I'll do is, depending on, I'm going to run Kaspersky first. I have Ultimate Boot CD. I can't remember which one's the right one here. But one of those you can boot and you can actually get the files off of it, or you can boot into a Linux distribution and do the same thing. But the first thing I'm going to do, first thing I'm going to do is run Kaspersky. I got a lot of things going through my mind of what I want to do and how I want to do it, so I apologize if I'm sort of rambling here, but there's just different things you want to think about when you're doing this and how to do it. And I'll probably back the stuff up onto a USB drive. In my box of goodies here, I have an empty one, so if I have to get in there and get the stuff off, I'll just use an empty USB to do it. But and the other thing I'll do somewhere in here at some point, depending on what kind of progress I make, is I have tools. I have C tools. I think that'll do it. And like I said, I'm a little rusty at this. But I also have this MHDD, which what you can do is you can go in and check the hard drive of the PC by using one of these disks, even though Windows isn't running. And what that'll do is let you know if the hard drive's good. Laptops are notorious for taking out hard drives just because they build so much heat, and usually people have them on their laps, have them on a couch, have them on the floor, whatever. They build so much heat that they take out the hard drive. So one of the things, if you're having problems, if you find nothing with Kaspersky as far as viruses, you want to try and run something like that to check, some tool to check the hard drive, because the hard drive could be bad and you could just be banging your head against the wall, because if the hard drive's bad, you got to put a new hard drive in. You're pretty much screwed. You're probably not going to get Windows to work or any of that. So just some random thoughts, some random ramblings. We'll see what happens here. When something happens or doesn't happen after a pretty good period of time, I'll get back and we'll decide where we're going to go from there. Looks like the hard drive is working. A little light here. I don't think you can see it, but the little light here for the hard drive, that's flashing on and off like it's trying to work and do something, which sometimes that's good, sometimes doesn't mean anything. So let's let her run, see what she does. We'll come out here a little bit. Oops. See what she does, and I will be back. Well, I didn't get to film it, but there wasn't much to film. Basically, I came down this morning after doing this last night and turned the computer on, and it was ready to go. It said, it basically just said, put your password in for Windows, and that's what I did, and here we are. So, that's really all there was to this. Not very exciting, but what I may do is, it needs to be updated to Windows 10, so I think we'll do that. I see we got the little window down here. There's not much to do to that, but while I have this here, I may do I probably will do the hard drive test on it, just to make sure. So, I'm going to do some of that. There's going to be some other things I'm going to do before I give this back. I'll be back to do those and show what I do in a case like this, but as far as fixing it, this is an easy fix the way it looks. So we'll delve into it a little more and go from there. Alright, so I'm just in here poking around at this and looking what the problem may have been, and with looking with it, it told me that Windows had did some updates. Well, if you see, I don't know how well you can see, because like I say, I don't normally record this way, but there's a couple of updates that were successful, and those are the ones that just happened yesterday when I did it. But there is a whole list of failed ones here on 12.2, and if you go in here and look, there's all kinds of them. So somehow it got balled up on 12.2 when it tried to do these updates, which I'm not going to mess with them, because we're updating this to Windows 10 anyhow, because that's what the person wanted. So we're not even going to worry about trying to get these fixed, which we could do, but we're not going to do it. So we'll just close out of this. And here it's wanting to do your upgrade, but before I do that, I want to make sure that the hard drive is good. Sorry, I got so many things going through my mind that I want to show with this that I can do. That, but we're going to upgrade. But what I want to do is plug my USB stick in, and I want to do a hard drive test on this. To see if the hard drive is good. So let's do that. The other thing that's happening that I would like to... Oh, USB took... I don't know. Well, I guess that's it. Same as the user password. Let's move that out of the way. On startup, there are a lot of things that are starting, which just isn't good. It slows the computer down, hurts the computer. The boot up time really stinks. Let me move this, see if I can get it. Like I said, I don't know what kind of picture you guys are going to get or how close this is. I think I got it as far as I can, but I'll explain what I'm doing. there's this crystal disk info, which gives you hard drive information. This is on my personal USB. So I just open that, and then I go into disk info. I double click on that. Yes. Double click on it again here. Do you want to allow the following? Yes. Oh, son of a gun, there it was. So, here's what came up when I run Crystal Disk. Trying to move this so you can see it. Health status is good, which is great. So, a lot of this other stuff is your error rate of when it's spinning up, and you know how many errors it may have and problems it may have. But as you can see, blue, you're good. Everything here is good. So that's a plus. So that tells me that this is well worth putting Windows 10 on and letting her do that. But before we do that, we have to get up. We have to get into the. I want to get into the place where I can do the settings to stop everything from booting up when the computer starts, to make this computer faster. I didn't talk to the person I'm working on the computer for.
Threat has been detected.
Uh-oh, a threat has been detected. Boop, 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 boop. Well, we're still going to clean this with something too and get the viruses out of here. That's their Avast. So we're just going to close that for right now. We're not going. We will get to that. We'll run another program. But what I want to do is get into. And honestly, folks, I'll be right back. I gotta look up the command because I can't remember what it is, because I don't do this often enough anymore. I used to know it by heart, but when you're out of it, you're out of it. So I'll be right back, and I'll show you how we can stop some of these startup things in the startup from coming up and making this computer faster at boot time. And this is much easier than when I started doing computers too, because a Google search will give you what you want. And basically all I typed in was how to disable startup programs in Windows. And it's really easy. It's MSCONFIG. msconfig. Mike, Sierra, Charlie, Ocean, November, Foxtrot, India, Golf. I just wanted to see if I could say all the letters in phonetic. But msconfig, you hit enter. Now, I've never ever seen this mess a computer up. Now, I'm not saying it can't, but I never had it happen. So basically what you do is go into startup. When you come in here, you can see this is the whole list of things that are starting up when Windows starts up. And a lot of this you just do not need. On my own, I clean everything out. I mean everything. And it makes the computer so much faster. All you would do is unclick your check boxes here. And when you unclick the check boxes, that's okay. It'll say, do you want to save, you know, keep the changes? Yes, and then you do that. So, we would do that. Okay, hard drive doesn't have a problem. We're not going to do the stop programs. I think our biggest problem was our Windows updates got messed up. So what we're going to do is we were told to go to Windows 10. Just for gits and shiggles, let's go to start download and we'll upgrade later. And then I'll come back to this, but while I go to do my real job, we'll let this download go, and we'll come back and then probably install it tonight. When all that happens, I'll be back. While this is downloading, what I want to do is I want to just sort of show everybody what I normally have running when I'm working on something, or when I used to work on something. This here is a Windows 8 laptop running. That over there is a live copy on disk of Linux Mint running. And over here is my Windows 10 running. So I got Linux, I got that. I have a MacBook Air upstairs that I use sometimes. I'll have down here, plus a Chromebook. So I'm pretty much covered with most operating systems. But I just wanted to let you know this is what I do, and I'm gonna come back over this way. Because here's the pile of discs I have out that I use, and over this side, as I said, these are all USB drives, a couple SDs. You never know what you're gonna need. This is pretty handy too. This is a USB with the card that you can put cards in to read cards. So it's nice to have that too, because maybe you'll have to use one of the cards and you only have USB ports and no place to stick the card in. So there you go. Once this is done downloading tonight, I'll be back. We'll slam Windows 10 into this baby, do some kind of virus check on it, maybe even just run theirs. There's another program I like to run called Malwarebytes. I think we'll do that. So we'll be back and we'll do that. I'm back after a day at work, and we'll get back at this. I've made some decisions along the way. Let's get this turned back on, see what it's doing. But what I'm going to do is, I got the okay to get the things out of the startup menu. Then I'm going to run some cleanup programs, especially since I'm going to be installing Windows 10. You want to get as much crap out of here before installing that as you can. So I'm going to run my cleanup programs. Then after I run my cleanup programs, what my thought is I am going to, we're still downloading. Aha! Ag! 15%? Wow. Okay, well, we'll do the cleanup, and then we'll see if this downloads by tomorrow. But I'll get out my trusty USB with all my goodies on it, which when I find the one that I want, let me look around here. Alright, I got my trusty USB here, so we're going to plug her in, and I will let you know as I go along here what programs I'm using. Almost, if not all, I would probably say all of the programs that I use are free programs. They are old on this stick. In other words, I've had them for a while because it's been a while since I actually worked on computers to try and make some money. But most of them are free. Let's go in, and I'll show you what they are, but let's go in and let's stop some of these programs from running on startup. That's probably the easiest. I showed you that earlier, but we're actually going to do it now. So startup. Okay, we're going to go in here, get rid of some of this stuff. A lot of Intel stuff. We're just getting rid of it. And on mine, I usually clean almost everything out. Realtek is your player. Lenovo Energy Management. We don't care about any of that. Lenovo this and that. We don't need iTunes. We don't need Best Buy. We don't need WeatherBug starting up. We don't need Google Toolbar starting up. Some of these VimICro, I have no idea. EGIS technology. A lot of this gets downloaded, and in the startup menu, when you download programs just willy-nilly and don't look. But a lot of these have to do with Lenovo, UCAM. I've never ever had a real problem with getting rid of any of these, so we're going to do it. And then it's going to ask us, we'll let Avast start up, but we're getting rid of Dropbox and the camera. Now it's going to ask us if we want to reboot, and no, we're not going to, because we're going to exit without restart. Reason for that is we're going in here next to my USB drive, and we're going to do some cleanup. I named my folder cleaning. Woohoo! Pretty good, huh? So there is our crystal disc, which we moved. One of the ones I really like is Pure RA, and this will really clean a lot of stuff out of this. I'll show you how to set it up and set these up. But update couldn't be installed. Yeah, we got a problem. Supposedly we have a problem with getting the internet too, so we'll figure all that out. That's just the way it is. So basically Pure NA opens up, it says next. We can recycle bin, we can empty, Windows update logs, all that. Myself, because we're doing this, we're gonna check all of them. I'm gonna clean all this crap out of here. So I'm gonna let it clean. We'll see how long it takes. I may turn off the camera while it's doing it, but you'll see what it does. Cleaning software distribution. Right now it's starting its cleaning process. And what I found out from experience is I usually get pretty impatient when I'm doing this. Yeah, I know, believe it or not. What I would do is try to run a couple programs at once. Don't do it. It's only going to mess you up. Slows the machine down. It's just not worth doing. It'll lock the machine up. We will look though here. We're going to disconnect from our connection, and then we're going to hook back up because it doesn't want to. It had a symbol there like it wasn't hooked up, and I'm not sure why. And our download of Windows 10 stopped. Who knows? But if you see the way that this Pure RA is working, now we're scanning for files, and it'll get rid of that. I may actually run this. TDSS Killer is another good program along with Kaspersky. If there's any rootkits in there, it'll find them. It's an older version. I don't know if I'm going to look for a newer one. I may just run that. It didn't show any rootkits. I think Kaspersky will take care of most of it, but I'll show you how to run that. So we'll bring this Pure RA back up. Okay, I'm going to turn the camera off. When this is done doing its cleaning, we'll come back. No use just watching it clean. I'll sit here, I'll drink my beer, and we'll wait for this to get done. Our scan is done, and it just gives you a log file of here. The process cannot access the file for some reason. I got my other laptop booting up because I'm doing some stuff here on the one over here in the corner. Be right back over, folks. Now here's what we got after we're all done. Shows you all the stuff that it cleared out. Bunch of stuff that it deleted. It cleaned a bunch of bytes of space. I think that's almost 68 megabytes, but it did take a lot of crap out of there. So that was Pure, P-U-R-E-R-A, that did that, and it finished. Now there's another one that I run. It's cleanup, 452. That's because it's okay, I got a vast reading my programs. Alright, fine, let it analyze it. Okay, it comes up with this. Do you agree? Yes, next. It just says destination directory for cleaning. View README file, I don't need that. Run installed application, we'll leave that checked, and okay. Not too sure what happened there. Let's try this again. Oh, maybe it's trying to open up. Oh, that was the installation file. I'm sorry. Because I have it on my hard drive and not on the computer. So we got to come down here. I don't think you can see it. I'm going to go out here a little bit so you can see what's actually happening. Maybe. It's down here in the toolbar. So I'll press that and open it. I'm going to tell it to clean up. I've used it before. Welcome to cleanup. It appears that this is the first time that you ran. It'll say, would you like to run a demonstration? And I'm going to tell it no, because I've ran this program before. I know what it is, so I tell it no. I love that sound. Decrepifier. Pretty cool, huh? So we had quite a bit off of that, and already here we have 140 megabytes, so it's cleaning stuff. Just saved us 160 megabytes. Would you like to donate? Well, no. I think I did it one time, but you will need to log off back in or restart Windows. Do you wish to log off? No, because we're going to do all that at once. We're going to reboot, let everything clear out, and let it boot. Then we're going to boot back down, and then we're going to run Kaspersky. Now, that was cleanup. There's another one that I like, which is CC Cleaner. I don't know if I'm going to run that because I ran these. I think I'm going to pass on that just for the part of time, for time. Let's go in, just for the heck of it, let's go into this TDS Killer. We're going to run that. Right there it is. TDSS Killer. And that's from Kaspersky also, but it scans it scans for rootkits. So let's start the scan. This shouldn't take too awful long, so I'll let the camera run. Maybe you can see what's happening here. It's scanning all the objects. It says no threats found, which is a good thing. We're not finding anything. Cool. None found. No rootkits. That's good. So we'll close that down. Now the last thing that I'm going to run right now is the disk defragger. This will take a while to run, but it'll defrag your disk, and I'm not too sure if it does anything or not really, but I'm going to do it. Now I want to let you people know one of the things here is, and I'm actually going to come in on this, is people get a lot of crap on their PC and they can't figure out where it came from, why they got it. A lot of it is, now I trust this program, but the thing is, it wants to add all kinds of shit to your desktop, your menus, your browser. And right here it is. You got to take time and you got to look at this because the boxes are checked. Add desktop shortcut. Add startup menu. Automatically check for updates. Install optional Yahoo toolbar. No, we do not want any of that. So you're going to come in here and uncheck them. Take your time, read what it's saying, look at it. You don't want any of this crap. You may want the desktop shortcut, but I'm not going to put it on here because I'm cleaning this, and the person would probably never use it again. So that's why I'm going to just not put it on the desktop. Now it asks me if I want to run it. Yes. Tell it to finish. Now this is probably going to take a while. It normally does. Now what I want it to check is a newer version. No, we're not even going to download that. I doubt that there's a lot to do. Here's the main drive, the C drive. So we're going to highlight that. You can analyze it. Oh, let me back out. I apologize. Like I said, I'm not used to doing this. Now you can analyze it just to see what it tells you, or you can just go right to defragging it. I'm not going to waste the time with the analyze. Please, by all means, if you want to do it, do it. It's building a file list. There's a pretty big hard drive. It's 331 gigabytes. I'm going to let it start. I'm sure it'll take a while. So I'm going to turn the camera off again. I'm going to do some other things here in the background, plus drink beer. And we'll be back when this is done defragging. But I'll let it run here just for a little bit because you can see the nice colors it's giving you and the sectors and how it's scanning them, and each colored symbol means something. I'm not going to worry about it too much explaining it, but you can see down here it's actually going through the different files that it's doing. This may take a while, but I want to do it just because, like I said, we're reinstalling, or we're going to install Windows 10. We'll let this do its thing. It might be the rest of the night, but as soon as it's done, or when it's done, and I see it's done, we'll be back and we'll finish this up, and we'll run. I'll show you how I run Kaspersky. Hopefully, if I can get this dang thing to boot the way I want it to, we'll go through all that. This video may end up being a two-part video. I'm not sure, more than likely, because it's going to run long. But we'll let this do its thing. I'll be back when it's done. We're back now. The defragging is complete. 85 fragmented files, 47 gigabytes. That's done. We're good with that. So what I'm going to do next is we're getting ready to reboot this. So one of the things I'm going to do first, because I won't need it right now, is I'm going to eject my USB drive, which is just going down here. And son of a gun. You go down to the left there, safe to remove hardware. Okay, we're going to take that out. So now what we're going to do before we reboot, the plan is to reboot now, but I want to do, on the next reboot, I want to do a what they call a check disk. So I opened up my computer. I'm in my computer. I right-clicked on my C drive. Now I'm coming down to properties, and with doing that, you get a list of options you can do. You get tabs of the list of options. There's general, tools, hardware, sharing. I was going to zoom this in, but I don't know. Like I said, I've never done this to the computer, so we'll see. So we'll go to tools. Now this option will check the drive for errors. You can tell it to check now, but then what it's going to tell you is automatically fix file system errors. And we're going to just do that. We're not going to scan for an attempt recovery of bad sectors. I don't think there is any bad ones. Now when you hit start, what's going to happen is it can't actually start doing the check disk on a live on a disk that's running, and the C drive is running. So what it'll tell you is, do you want to do this? Windows can't check the disk while it's in use. Do you want to check the hard disk errors the next time you start your computer? And say schedule disk check. Hit OK. Close this out. Now what we're going to do is we're going to restart the computer. The other thing that was happening is the Windows 10 installation will not download. The updates will not download on Windows 7, and the installation for Windows 10 won't work. Sometimes running this check disk will find the errors, so next time you try to run it, it will actually do it. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to restart the computer, and you'll see what it's like when it's running this check disk. We'll start the process, start the progress of it doing it, and then I'm going to probably, after I show you what it's doing, because it can take a while, let it do the process, and then I will be back after the process is done. We'll pick up from there. I'll show you what it'll do, what it's doing, and how it's doing it, but after it does that, it will just boot into Windows by itself when it's done, so we'll probably come back and the Windows screen will be up. I want to do a reboot now and do this check disk, let the whole computer do its thing and boot up. Then after we do that, we are going to put the Kaspersky in the live USB, and I'm going to show you how you have to and what you have to do with this. Now what it should do is go into this check disk process, or at least tell you it's going to. Let's hope. It's definitely different than Windows XP. I'm surprised. I thought it would actually... Maybe I have to log in. Been a while. Like I say, I've been out of the game here doing this, so let's see what it does. I told it to do it next time, so see if it goes and does it. If not, I'll probably tell it again, reboot, and see if it'll do it the next time. Well, folks, how did that work? Let's go back in and see if I missed something. Let's try this once again, because I can't believe that it ran the scan that quickly. So we went into my computer, C disk, oops. It's looking a little different, but we'll go here to the C. Now, I don't know if you noticed, this computer, I thought it was going to do the check, which it didn't. We'll get there. But it booted up very quickly compared to what it used to. That's from going in that MS config and stopping everything from starting up that was starting up. This computer to the person will seem extremely fast now, especially for the boot up, because that's a world of difference. Alright, so we're going to go into properties again. We're going to go into tools. I'm not sure if I did something wrong. As I said, it's been a while since I did this. I could have defragmented it from here also, rather than using that defraggler tool. But I just like that defraggler. And the computer's seeming to run slow now because it's not starting up all those processes, but the computer is just starting up for the first time since I've done quite a bit of stuff to it. So it'll take a little bit of time till it actually gets everything set and does what it wants to this first time. But then after that, it should actually boot up relatively quickly and get to where you can do stuff. Like I say, I know why it's acting slow now. It's because I cleaned files out of it. We did a whole list of things to it before we rebooted it. Yeah, and on board, I guess they like that. Alright, start. Let's try this again. Do you want errors next time you start your computer? Yes. Okay. What I'm going to do this time, and I don't know if it'll make a difference, and it shouldn't, is I'm going to completely shut down the computer and then totally restart it. This will turn the power off, and then I'm going to totally restart it, and maybe that'll make a difference. I don't think it should. Oh, wonderful. Okay, we're trying to install updates. We're going to let it go through its thing here. This could take a while too. So I'm going to let it do its thing, see if it gets these updates in here, see if it restarts. We may miss. I'm not going to sit here and watch these updates. I will continue to look for them, but I'm just not going to sit here and wait till it does them. The Lord knows how long this will take. We may miss that booting up and doing the check disk. But basically, if you do that, it should start up, and like in Windows XP, it used to go to a black screen and just tell you that it was checking the disk. It would go through it all, and then it would boot. If we miss it, we miss it. I'm not going to do it again. So we'll see if this stupid thing does install these updates. And I don't know how long it'll take, and we'll just have to see. So there we are. Thanks.